Okay. Huh?
No talking.
I think so. Tap on the microphone.
No. This, yesterday video.
Show it here. I don't know. Well,
Slow voice.
Maybe I have to put it closer. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Prabhupada Ki Jai. Fine. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming to class. So, we are reading here Srimad-bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading here from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 3, text 25. I just realized that I posted it wrong. I said 23. It's actually 25. The chapter is called Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. So you're new here. So you know who Gajendra is? Gajendra Gajendra was an elephant, actually the king of the elephants. But he was not an ordinary elephant because he could think clearly like a person. He had been previously, in a previous life, he had been a king, King Indrajumna. For some reason, he took that birth as an elephant. Maybe some offense, I'm not sure. But he took that birth, and he was enjoying out in the water with all of his she elephants, and then he got attacked by a crocodile, a big crocodile, giant crocodile, and they fought for a very long time. And finally, he's realizing he can't defeat that crocodile. So when he finally decides to, he can't do anything for himself. And then he remembered somehow from his previous lifetime as a devotee of Krishna, he remembered this prayer that he had learned at that time, a long prayer. So this chapter is about that prayer, praying to the Lord, and he's glorifying the Lord in so many ways, and he's begging for help because he realizes finally he can't do it on his own. Okay, and then in the Srimad-bhagavatam, the way these books are written, they're very authorized. So they start off showing the original Sanskrit text, which I don't know if anyone here knows the actual Sanskrit. I don't. And then the transliteration, so we can chant it like it is. So like it would actually sound if we could chant the original text. And then every word, Srila Prabhupada was very insistent that every word in the transliteration, every word of Sanskrit was individually translated. So there's a word for word synonyms, which makes it very, very authorized translation like that. And then the translation, and then almost every verse has a very elaborate purport. So otherwise we won't understand what the translation is all about anyway. So that's how it's set up. And this particular chapter, we've gotten to the point where the Gajendra has already experienced defeat, and he realizes that he can't defeat this crocodile. So now he's praying to the Lord, and that's why this chapter is called Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. So, and then what we do, sorry, we don't have anything written up here. Everyone's looking on these days. Everyone's looking on their phones. You can see the Sanskrit text. So but I'll chant, and we'll try to follow along, and then we'll do the word for word synonyms, the translation. I'll read the purport, and then I'll try to explain something. Jijivishe nahan iha buyakim. Antar bahish chavri taye balonya. Ichami kalena nayasha viplavas. Yashatma loka varanasya moksham. Jijivishe nahan iha buyakim. Antar bahish chavritaye bayonya. Ichami kalena nayasha viplavas. Ishatma loka varanasya moksham. Jijivishe naham iha muyakim. Antar bahishcha vritaye bayonya. Ichami kalena nayasha viplavas. Tashatma loka varanasya moksham. Okay. Jijivishe naham iha muyakim. Antar bahischa vritaye bayonya. Ichami kalena nayasya viplavas. Yatma loka varanasya moksham. Jijivishe naham iha muyakim. Antar bahischa vritaye bayonya. Ichami kalena nayasya viplavas. Tashatma loka varanasya moksham. Would you like to try? We're gonna. Jijivishe naham ima huyakim. Antar bahischa vritaye bayonya. Ichami kalena nayasya viplavas. Tashatma loka varanasya moksham. Okay, now the word for word synonyms. Jijivashe, wish to live long. Na, not. Aham, I. Iha, in this life. Amuya, or in the next life. I do not wish to live upon being saved from this dangerous position. Kim, what is the value? Antaha, internally. Bahi, externally. Cha, and. Avritaya, covered by ignorance. Ivayonya, in this birth as an elephant. Ichami, I desire. Kalena, because of the influence of time. No, there is not. Yasha, of which. Viplavaha, annihilation. Tasha, that. Atmaloka avaranasha, from the covering of self-realization. Moksham, liberation. Translation. I do not, this is a Gajendra speaking, I do not wish to live any more after I am released from the attack of the crocodile. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? I simply desire eternal liberation from the covering of ignorance. That covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. So repeat after me. I do not wish to live any more after I am released from the attack of the crocodile. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? I simply desire eternal liberation from the covering of ignorance. That covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In this material world, every living entity is covered by the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, the Vedas enjoin that one should approach the Supreme Lord through the spiritual master, who is described and offered prayers in the Gautamiya Tantra as follows. Now, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanajana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. No, I say that all the time. So it's from the Gautamiya Tantra. Quote, translation of that verse we just spoke. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who with the torchlight of knowledge has opened my eyes, which are blinded by the darkness of ignorance. End quote. Although one may struggle for existence in this material world, to live forever is impossible. One must understand, however, that this struggle for existence is due to ignorance, for otherwise every living being is an eternal part of the Supreme Lord. There is no need to live as an elephant or a man, American or Indian. One should desire only to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because of ignorance, we we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within the material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. Um, we are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life or that. We may make a permanent settlement in this life or that. Yeah. Om Ajnana Timurandasya Kinachana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Same prayer again. So, the Srimad-bhagavatam is full of so much important knowledge. Actually, the Srimad-bhagavatam, in general, the whole purpose of the Srimad-bhagavatam is to bring us to the point of loving Krishna. The goal, if you study Bhagavad Gita, there are many ideas and different philosophies and so on that are presented throughout. And the Lord Krishna, one by one, defeats them. Idea of God worship, and then he says, you can do this, but you're less intelligent if you do like that. You can become a jnani, but you're also less intelligent if you do that. Ultimately, Lord Krishna concludes at the end, Sarva Dharmang Parityaja Mamekang Sharanang Vraja Ahang Twan Sarva Papebhyo Mokshaishami Masutaha. To give up everything, give up all these other ideas, and just surrender to me, and I will protect you from all sinful reactions. So all those other ideas are there, but the goal is, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is give up all that, surrender to Krishna, engage in his devotional service without any other motivation. So that's where this ends. And then the Srimad-bhagavatam, it immediately starts off, Dharma Projita Kaitavocha Paramo Nimatsuranam Satam, and so on. It starts off by immediately kicking out any kind of religion, include the demigod worship and all these things I just mentioned, and kicking all that out and from the beginning. So the Bhagavad Gita concludes that, and the Srimad-bhagavatam starts with that point. So going on from the Srimad-bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says if we study carefully the Srimad-bhagavatam verse by verse, and if we follow the instructions that were in the Srimad-bhagavatam, that's not that we read Srimad-bhagavatam like you would read a novel, like a storybook, but you read it as what it is. It's the words of God. So if we read it like that and try to understand the philosophy in it and try to live according to that philosophy, by doing that, then we will become Krishna conscious, pure devotees of Krishna, which is the goal. So here it's Gajendra. He for some reason that soul took that birth as an elephant, king of the elephants, and he was enjoying, or he felt he was enjoying, for so much time, until he got in problem with a giant crocodile grabbing his foot, and the lesson from the previous chapter was, because everything in the Srimad-bhagavatam is teaching us something important, so we can go forward in our spiritual life. So Gajendra, as he is an elephant, is a animal of the land primarily. They go in the water, they enjoy a little bit, but they live on the land. The crocodile, on the other hand, is in the water and sometimes may go on land. They're strongest in the water. So the lesson previously was that when they were fighting, the more they fought, the stronger and more enthusiastic the crocodile became, and the less and the more discouraged and lost the Gajendra became, because and the lesson there in terms of what's practical for us is that we practice Krishna consciousness, and for some, that doesn't really matter in practicing Krishna consciousness. It doesn't matter whether you're living as a brahmachari, brahmacharini, in the ashram like that. You're living you're married, or you're a sannyasi, renounced everything. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. The main thing is you live in the way that is most where you're strongest in spiritual life, where you can most focus on your spiritual life. In any case, it's good. So just as Gajendra was not an animal of the water, so when he got attacked by the crocodile in the water, he was gradually losing. He was losing. Gajendra was losing the battle after some time, and the crocodile was becoming, on the other hand, very enthusiastic and stronger and more eager. More encouraged. So the same thing in our own spiritual lives. We live in such a way that we are. It's encouraging for us to go forward, and the ultimate goal is that we become Krishna conscious. That's the point of that. So now, go background of what brought us to this point. Now Gajendra, in this verse, he's finally got he's begging for the Lord to come and save him from this very difficult situation, and he's concluded very intelligently that once I'm saved, I don't want to be in this material world anymore. I have no interest in living here, trying to enjoy here. I have only interest in eternal liberation. So he's not thinking, please God, come and save me from this difficult, dangerous situation that I'm in. And then once I'm saved, then I go back and enjoy myself again, and enjoy with my she elephants, wives, and like that. He wasn't thinking that save me and then I can go back and enjoy the material world again. He finally came to the conclusion after actually said 1,000 years of fighting. It means it was not on this planet, because nobody lives 1,000 years these days. But after 1,000 years of fighting with this crocodile, he came to this conclusion that he not only did he want to be saved, but he wanted to not take another material birth in this world. So he's praying like that. And actually, this is all for us, because we've all taken birth here. We've all taken birth in this material existence from different countries and different bodies, some male bodies, some female bodies, some American and Cuban and other place bodies like that. And we've had our lives of whatever we were doing previously to taking up Krishna consciousness. And now we've gotten this opportunity, we've accepted this opportunity to become Krishna conscious. So, and this, and means that philosophically, from studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-bhagavatam, and so on, we understand that what we should be doing in life. We shouldn't be thinking oh, I want to be Hare Krishna devotee so I can become free from misery, and then once I'm free from my suffering, then I can go out and I can now I know how I can really enjoy the material world better. Now, Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Radha Vrajabihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, and Shingadev Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Yes. So in practicing Krishna consciousness, we should be coming to the same conclusion, or we should have come to the same conclusion that Gajendra has come to here because of his intense suffering and struggling. He came to the conclusion that not only do I want to be saved, but I don't want to take another birth in this world. I don't want to have to take. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to come back to this world again. I don't want to try to enjoy this world again, because in the Vedic culture, the people in general are not necessarily devotees of Krishna. They're not necessarily devotees. They are, in the actual sense of the word, they are. Most people are karmis. Now we talk about karmis sometimes we say like a low class thing or something, but Vedic culture, the people in general were karmis, and karmi actually means sorry, that that you're following the Vedic knowledge, but you are following the Vedic knowledge to get some a better material situation in the future. You're following the Vedic knowledge to get a better material situation in the future. Like we're talking about the worshiping of demigods. You know who demigods are? Okay, so the demigods, are devotees of Krishna, but they have particular functions in this world. Some of them are in charge of the weather, or in charge of everything. Even the demigod, Srila Prabhupada says, there's even a demigod that controls our blinking of our eyes. Everything. There's so many, and many of these demigods, you can worship them in a certain way, according to the Vedic knowledge, to get some kind of material benefit of some sort. So Vedic culture, that's what most people did, these kind of things, thinking that, okay, I'm suffering now, but I'll really enjoy the next lifetime, because I'm gonna go austerity. I'm going to go to the heavenly planets. I'm going to go to the moon or the sun, or these are both heavenly planets, according to the Vedas. So we are. They perform these activities, but the problem is in that kind of activity. Yeah, there's good karma, so-called good karma, but good karma is not really good karma, because good karma means that in order to enjoy the results of your karma, you have to take birth again. And and for one who has taken birth, death is certain. If you're born, you have to die at some point. And nobody has a perfect, period from the time they're born to they die. There's disease, there's old age, there's a lot of things that go on in our lives, a lot of challenges that go on in our lives to disturb our desire to enjoy. Even if you've got, even if you're a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire. I don't know if there's any trillionaires in the world yet, but even if you're in one of those positions, there's so much trouble, there's so much anxiety. So no one, no matter how good their material karma is going to be 100% happy. And the but the Srila Prabhupada explains that by Maya's blessing, Maya means the illusory energy. So by her blessings, sometimes we feel that I am happy, we're feeling that we're enjoying. He gives the example of the the hogs, the pigs. They they eat anything, right? Hogs they're known for indiscriminate eating, and even they like stool, which we say oh, but actually they're eating and they're thinking this is very nice. They're thinking this is very nice. So by Maya's blessing, in a sense, they are enjoying it, but at the same time, it's actually suffering, but they don't realize that how much they're suffering. They're covered in that way. But the same thing applies to everyone. We all have things in life that we feel, oh, this is really, I'm really enjoying. But when you come to the point of becoming more and more Krishna conscious, and we realize that things that we were thinking that were really enjoyable are just real happiness, we say is really just a relief or relief from material distress. Just like if we are very hungry, then the eating is very enjoyable. So you say, oh, I'm very happy now. I'm eating a good meal. But that means that feeling very hungry, which is required in order for us to really enjoy that eating a good meal, is actually a source of suffering. We may not think about it too much now if we had to go for days and weeks and not eat properly and we're starving all the time. Before we ate something, we think, and when you eat, you think, wow, I'm really enjoying now. I'm really happy now. But it's just a relief from the distress. Or sleeping, if we're really tired, then we try to lay down and sleep. Well, actually, you feel now I'm feeling happy because I'm sleeping because I was really tired. But if you're laying down all day and you can't sleep, and your mind is just going in 1,000 miles an hour, so many things that are disturbing you, then you can't sleep. So if you're tired, if you're enjoying sleeping, it's because you're suffering because you're being tired. And then, so many examples like that. So that's material happiness. It's a relief, temporary relief from material distress. We understand philosophically, and that's why we do study the philosophy, by the way. We have to hear these things all the time, day after day. That's why the Srimad-bhagavatam class is a regular daily activity. We hear this philosophy again and again so that we can understand and remember why we are doing what we're doing. Because sometimes people take up the path of Krishna consciousness, and then they start feeling, because they're really suffering in some way, just like, I have to do something else because it's becoming unbearable. And they get some relief. Prasadam every day, seeing nice colors and nice things like that. We're seeing the deities every day. Singing and dancing for Krishna, it's pleasing, right? So there's so many things about Krishna consciousness is pleasing. So after some time, we enjoy like this, but after some time, if we're not careful, if we don't study the philosophy, if we don't chant our Hare Krishna or japa nicely, then we easily start getting attracted to things outside, getting a little argument with someone in practice, in another devotee maybe, and then we think, oh, I had friends outside. We never argued about anything. It was so nice. People out there are so much nicer than Hare Krishna devotees. The mind starts doing these things, and then so the mind will do those things. The mind the function of the mind, according to Bhagavad Gita, is to accept and reject different things on the basis of sense gratification. Means, like, in other words, if it feels good, do it. That's what the mind does. So, of course, just acting on the basis of the mind will get us a problem, because a lot of times the things that feel good are the things that are good for us, right? Maybe I'm upset with somebody, and I'll feel good if I kill that person, but that's not gonna do us any good, or or do some other kind of activity is not good for us. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita says that higher than the mind, above dull matter, above that the senses, ability to see and hear and so on. Above the working senses which are material, is the mind, which is also material, but it's all the senses work through the agency of the mind. Above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. So the mind will say so many things, but our intelligence, which is supposed to be, or is being, if we're studying philosophy, Krishna conscious philosophy, our intelligence should come in and say, okay, mind, you're saying this and this and this, but to think in terms of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-bhagavatam, and you'll realize, mind, that what you're thinking is not good for you. So that the intelligence, that's the function of the intelligence. And that intelligence, we get, our intelligence is basically guided by this knowledge that we're learning. If someone was just always completely Krishna conscious, they wouldn't have to worry about philosophy. They would already realize Krishna. But that's not us, which is not me. Anyone here already know Krishna completely? No takers. So like that. So we have to make sure higher than the mind is the intelligence, and higher than the intelligence is the soul. So our real activity is all based on devotional service, and devotional service means we went pure devotional service. So pure devotional service, we were just reading the other day, actually. Pure devotional service means three things. First of all, our devotional service is not mixed with desires for karma, like the demigod worship, or how to go to the heavenly planets and those kind of things, how to enjoy materially in the future. It's not our devotional service has to be not for that purpose. Our devotional service has to be not for not with desire for some impersonal type of result, like merging in the white light, the Brahma Jyoti, like that. We have to not be desiring that, because someone might be engaging in devotional service and thinking, well, maybe the result of this is I can just merge in Krishna's effulgence. So if we're thinking like that, then that's also not good. That's not pure devotional service. It's mixed, because it's material. And the third qualification is that the the service that we do has to be what is pleasing to Krishna, something that Krishna wants us to do. So, as mentioned in the class the other day, we can't just decide that, I gave the example the other day, because we're in Miami, there's beaches everywhere, so it's not that I would say, okay, today I think I'll do my devotional service today was I'll just go out and I'll lay on the beach all day and just enjoy. And this is a service I'm going to do for Krishna. Now, are you actually doing that for Krishna, or are you doing that for your own personal senses, right? So so how do we know what Krishna wants? I mean, who can actually talk with Krishna, right? And ask Krishna, what do you want me to do today? I'll do what you want, but you've got to tell me. I got to hear it from you. Okay, and we're already hearing it, and we also hear from and Krishna says. Um, uh, I mean, basically, this is where the one accepts guru. We all accept in ISKCON, we all accept Srila Prabhupada as our founder acharya, founder because he's founded and established ISKCON, and acharya because he is the acharya. I know I've mentioned this several times, but what are the three qualifications of the acharya, to be an acharya? One qualification? Okay, he's accepting knowledge through the disciplic succession, and what else?
He also tells you how to live.
He teaches that philosophy, and he follows it. Yeah. So there's three qualifications. He's receiving knowledge through the disciplic succession. It's from Krishna through the line of spiritual masters and disciples down to the present time. He's getting that knowledge there. He's speaking that knowledge, preaching that knowledge, and he's teaching also by his own example. He's following that knowledge. So those three qualifications. Those are the qualifications of acharya. So Srila Prabhupada is our founder acharya, means he founded the movement, he founded ISKCON, founded all the different, there's many points about that, but he founded ISKCON, and he's also our main acharya who has given us and has shown also by his personal example how we should be living and practicing Krishna consciousness. So we are, in that way, we are in that way we can understand, we can come to understand what does Krishna want me to do. We're talking about devotional service. Pure devotional service means one of the qualifications is that we're doing what Krishna wants us to do. So what does Krishna want us to do? Well, we definitely have to regularly chant Hare Krishna. And regular chanting Hare Krishna means, in ISKCON, that means at least on beads, 16 rounds of japa, Hare Krishna japa. We have to avoid or abstain from the four big do-nots. Srila Prabhupada says that the four regulative principles are said all these four activities that we don't do: eating meat, fish and eggs, illicit sex, and using any kind of intoxication, and gambling. Those four things are. He says all these sinful activities in the world can be summarized in those. So not like we've got, it's not like we're joining the Hare Krishna movement and you've got a book of 10,000 rules and regulations and things and do's and do nots, and you got to memorize it and try to. No, it's impossible. Of course, there's a lot to learn, but as far as what's sinful activities, there's those things. There's four. Huh? Also, okay, that's. But the point is, we are we follow. So we chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds. We avoid the sinful activities and so on. And then what is she? But then chanting 16 rounds only takes what? 2 hours? Well, more if you're chanting a lot more rounds. Uh, uh, but 16, they say 2 hours of chanting. Following the four regular principles doesn't take any time. Something you don't do, so there's no time. So that means 22 hours in a day. We just have to do something to remember Krishna, right? We can't just. I remember when I first heard 16 rounds a day, four regular principles. I was thinking, okay, 16 rounds a day, it's 2 hours. Four regular principles, there's nothing to do. That sounds pretty easy. But in reality, we have to work very hard, keeping engaged in one way or another in Krishna's service. Otherwise, we lose our taste for chanting. And if we don't chant, then if we're not chanting, then we lose our taste, that higher taste, and then the other activities, the sinful activities, start looking kind of attractive. Yeah. And these things start becoming attractive because we're not experiencing the higher taste of chanting. So therefore, practicing Krishna consciousness means we have to be thinking all the time, how can I utilize any moment I've got in devotional service for Krishna? And for us in ISKCON, a lot of that is how we can work together cooperatively in giving Krishna consciousness to others. That also make us Krishna conscious. Like how do we how do we teach others about Krishna consciousness? This is like you say the family business, so to speak. Where the family, we think together how we can give Krishna consciousness to others. And this is actually an obligation we have if we're practicing Krishna consciousness, because we've received this knowledge, we received this opportunity, this mercy. So we have to think, how can I give this to others? And that will help us to advance. And there's so many levels that these things can be done. So that. This is the last point here, and then because this. So the verse, it says that from the Lord Brahma down to the ant, no one is actually happy. Lord Brahma is the first created living being in the universe, first created by Krishna. So from Lord Brahma down to the ant, or sometimes Srila Prabhupada says from down to the Indragopa germ, which is like this most insignificant living entity in the universe. No one can actually be completely happy. And as I was explaining, the Bhagavad Gita says from the highest planet in the material world to the lowest planet, all are places of misery where repeated birth and death take place. We made that point earlier. So even if you're on the highest planet, even if you're Lord Brahma, if you take birth as Lord Brahma in a universe, and you live for, well, Lord Brahma in our universe lives for, in our years, is 311 trillion years. You can imagine. But for him, his lifetime is as long as his lifetime to him is no longer than our lifetime is to us here. I mean, we experience. He'll experience his lifetime, and you say time is relative in a sense. He was born, and he has to die, and his time will be up in due course. And according to how he lived, what he did, will determine his next birth. Or else maybe he'll go back to Godhead, or he could take a lower birth if he messed up. So from the highest planet to the lowest planet, every species of life in the material world, there's always suffering, and we are practicing by practicing Krishna consciousness, if we practice seriously, then we can, in this very lifetime, we can finish up this whole business in this material world, become Krishna conscious. So, stop here. It's already 8:40. Are there any questions or comments? Questions are good. It's a sign of.
I have a question.
So you try speaking to the microphone.
I have a question. I was listening on yesterday. A very short period of time to do something of the Mataji from Srimad-bhagavatam over here in Vrindavan, and she had caught it when she said that Prabhupada had suggested that on a Ekadasi, one should chant 25 rounds.
We were doing when I joined the movement. We were doing that actually. So yes, 25 rounds. Yeah, when I joined the movement, we did like that. In fact, we didn't serve breakfast on Ekadasi mornings, and we would use that time to chant extra japa. Yes, that's true. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, I was also very new, so I guess I didn't hear directly Shilpa was saying that, but we were definitely following that at that time in Gainesville when I joined.
And is it only on Ekadasi that Prabhupada suggests you chant extra rounds?
Yeah. Yeah, we were chanting extra rounds. So we were it was minimum 25 rounds instead of 16 rounds. That's how we were doing it then. So it was good. The chanting was nice. Any questions? Try to speak loud because the microphone is so that it's not a loudspeaker microphone, but so that those who are watching here can also hear you.
You just mentioned that our goal is to finish this business in this life.
Yes.
But so we need to burn our karma, right?
So many?
We need to burn our karma, existing karma.
It'll be burnt. Your karma will be burnt up by practicing Krishna consciousness.
But there are so many layers of karma.
Oh. Yeah, that also will be burnt up. Yes, actually, by chanting every time you chant Hare Krishna, every time you see prasadam, every time you see the deities, every time you clap your hands for the deities, all these things are burning up that karma. And at the time of the first initiation, when you're officially surrendering to the process of Krishna consciousness by surrendering to the spiritual master and promising, committing that I'm going to chant 16 rounds minimum, I'm going to follow the four regular principles. At that time of the first initiation, actually all the karma is finished. So it is burnt up. It is passed on up to Krishna, who is not affected by it. So, which is what Krishna says. He says, give up all varieties of religion, give up all these other activities, engage in my devotional service, and I will save you from all sinful reactions. Right? So when we were actually surrendering to the spiritual master, agreeing to I'll chant my rounds, I'll follow the principles, no more sinful activities, and spiritual master is taking charge of your life. It's a two-way street. So you're promising, and the spiritual master is also promising to help you, but you got to keep your promise too. So by doing that, then all those sinful reactions, Srila Prabhupada says, the spiritual master removes that karma. What's actually happening is it's being passed on up to Krishna. It's being passed up to Krishna, who, of course, Lord Krishna is not affected by karma, and we have no more karma. So in that way we finish up in this lifetime. We don't have to come back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime now to live it out, which would not work very well anyway, because then we would keep producing more. So the idea is to finish up, become Krishna conscious, and all this karma will be burnt up in this lifetime, and then we get the chance to go back home, back to the spiritual world, and not take another material birth again. That's actually the process.
Thank you. Another question.
Yes.
You mentioned, how can we find our spiritual master?
Uh,
How can we recognize him?
how do you find the spiritual master? Well, of course, when I joined the movement, it was easy. There was only one. Now there are many, but you can listen to there's many ISKCON spiritual masters. I mean, so assuming I can only speak within ISKCON because I don't know outside. There's many spiritual masters in ISKCON, and you can listen. I'm sure many of them they're all giving classes, they're all preaching. A lot of it's on the internet these days, right? And you can hear, and you can see who you feel good about. There's no rush. It's not like okay, you gotta immediately accept someone. But as far as you'll see who you feel good about, and because you speak English, so that makes it. At least that's one language you speak, obviously. So you just listen to just listen. You can see a name. You can see a list. There is a list of ISKCON gurus. I can show you. Tell you where it is. I have to find it again. It's on the ISKCON. It's called the ISKCON GBC website. So they mentioned there's a list of all the current gurus. So you can get the names of everyone, and you can look and see what you hear them speak, see who you feel good about, or some of them have books, and you can also read their books, like that. So it'll come. In general, Krishna will show you from within the heart. Krishna is also here, Super Soul. So if you're sincerely looking for a guru who will guide you, then he will make the arrangement. By the mercy of Krishna, we find Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, we go back to Krishna. So it's both. It works in both directions.
So in this tradition, you have freedom to choose.
Yes. Oh yes, of course. Yeah. No. Yes, of course.
What without your
That doesn't normally happen. I mean, it could, but I've never known of it happening. You pretty much if you find someone you like who is actually initiating guru in his ISKCON. There's over how many are there? Last time I looked, there's a little over 100 right now in ISKCON. So if you find someone you like and then you can get an opportunity maybe to actually meet that person, and then and make it known that you would like to be initiated by that person, and they'll probably tell you to wait a little bit. The system in ISKCON is when you first join. When you first join, and I'm assuming right now you're just joining. I didn't know you before this. First 6 months, or at least 6 months, minimum 6 months, you try to develop your relationship with Srila Prabhupada, because he's our founder acharya, and everything that anyone else could teach you, they've gotten it from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so we develop that devotional attitude towards Srila Prabhupada. So 6 months of that, and of course you're practicing, you're chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds. You work up to that if you're not already. And follow the 4 regular principles. Engage in social service like that. And then, after that, then you can start. I mean, you can actually look before that, but you should always be chanting. Right now, you'll be chanting Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantras. I just have to show you. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya. You know these by chance? No. Well, we'll show you. We'll show you. You can learn. You start off like that, and then naturally you'll become attracted during that time with someone who initiating guru, and then you can at that point you can make contact with that someone you're interested in, either writing or maybe in person if it's somebody who's come through here like that. And you can speak with them, express your desire to be initiated by them, and they'll tell you to do certain things, like we have a course we teach. It's called the ISKCON Disciples Course. It's required anyone who wants to be initiated. So it gives you a lot of knowledge about guru-disciple relationships and like that, and why we accept guru and so on. I actually teach that course, but I need some more time at night so I can do the presentation. But anyway, we're teaching that, and you in that way you can. That's one of the requirements, and that's pretty much it. If you show that you've been chanting and you've been following the four regular principles and you've taken that course and that you're sincerely wanting to be initiated, I'd be very surprised if any initiating guru in this kind would refuse you. So, questions? Okay, so, oh my, it's late. So we'll end here for today. I have other duties to perform too. And tomorrow we will continue with the next. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll continue with the next verse. That'll be verse 26 here. So you see, there's so much knowledge in the Srimad-bhagavatam to learn. These are wonderful books. So in here, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.